Janice, can you hear me? Okay, I don't think. Can you say you're unmuted? Can you say something? I think I need to add you to the stage. So if I add you to stage, now can you? Oh, yeah,
Oh, that totally changed the way my picture looked.
I know, but I don't really want you in the stage. So,
No,
um,
I don't want to be on the.
but you should be able to still talk. Yeah. Janice, can you try posting a comment in the comment section for me? Please. The endurance team had a town hall, unfortunately, the exact same time as us. So we don't have our Zoom link. So we're trying this tonight. Did you try and post a comment? Yeah. Oh, uh, can you try one more time, Janice, please?
I'm entering it in the box where it says chat with everyone in the studio. Is that right?
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to add everyone to the stage just so
Mm.
we'll give it a go. And then I'll just mute you guys for now and you can unmute.
Hi, Coach.
Hi. Okay. One more minute. Here I am. Never mind. There we go. Okay. Okay, you can all hear me? Janice, give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Beautiful. Okay. Okay, we'll get started. Thank you guys. I know 6:30 is a tough time. So thank you for hopping on and learning a little bit about body composition and understanding your results. Some of you are savvy veterans at this. Hopefully I can provide some maybe new info for you guys or something to think about. And anyone that is new, hopefully you find all of it useful. So I'll leave lots of time for questions at the end. And there is a comment section. We'll see if we can manage it as we go. But I'm available for any questions after. If you want to go over individual stuff, you've got me. Okay. So let's get started. Okay. Janice, can you see that full screen? No. Okay.
It's because the people went to the in front of it now. Like it's
Okay, so you can change your stage, but I can maybe remove, if I remove you from the stage, which I'm just going to do, can you give me a thumbs up if you see it? Mom, was that a thumbs up or down? Okay, so why can't Janice see it?
I don't know.
So Janice, might be a thing under your screen. You can toggle the screen.
Okay. Leave studio. Oh.
Can everyone else, Paul, are you able to see it? Are you still there? You might have to unmute yourself for a sec.
Hmm.
The people boxes are still showing up at the bottom of the screen. It's cutting off
Thanks,
like
Toby.
the
All of
bottom
it.
a little bit. The
Okay,
bottom
so
like
you see
half
what
of
I
limitless
see.
performance, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Mom, can you see the picture? Okay. Okay, I'm going to get started. And I think it's working. I did remove you guys, so I will open it up for questions after. Or you can add anything in the private chat. And we'll rock and roll. So, Janice, just a double thumbs up. You can hear me? Beautiful. Okay, let's move forward here. So, body composition, understanding sort of your results. And I want to talk a little bit about changes and is it worth the trade-off? It's kind of what we are looking at. So for anyone that's new, I wanted to include these instructions. They are also in the room where the scale is, okay? So these are some instructions for you to get on in there. If you need some help, please just ask a coach. But also one reminder that I didn't include on here is that when we are doing our analyses, we should technically do them at the same time every day when we're comparing as we go. That's one big thing. And ideally no food or drink besides water before these. alcohol the night before can sway the results. Coffee in the morning can also sway the results. So if you're looking for a true, legit analysis, ideally first thing in the morning, and fasted as well. And this is, if you haven't seen it, this is what it looks like. You get weight, you get a muscle mass measurement, and you get a body fat percentage measurement as well. You can disregard the BMI. I am not a huge fan of BMI as a reference, especially for us folks, as we have a lot of muscle. So technically my BMI is kind of off the charts for my height. So not something that I like to use as reference moving forward. Okay, so when you're looking at that overall number that we get from the scale, which is for this person was 40.6. Okay, some people don't know is that something that I want to change? Am I in a healthy range? What does that look like in terms of where I'd like to be? So I've just put down some guidelines here. Your ideal percentage depends on a lot of factors. So age is a big factor, gender is a big factor, and also fitness goals. So depending on what you have in mind for fitness goals, maybe some high rocks, maybe some running, a different body fat percentage can go a long way in terms of reaching your goals. Okay, so when we look at this, we've got essential fat. So this is basically, and I'll talk about this a little bit more later, someone who just has only the essential fat on their body, nothing extra. Women would be in that 10 to 13%. That would be a very low body fat percentage. Men in that 2 to 5 range. Okay. More so in the athlete range of things, women are looking at that 14-20%, men slightly lower. Okay. And anyone who is working out a lot, fitness is a big part of their life. We see usually women in that 21 to 24%, men 14 to 17. And within the average population, women are about 25 to 31% and men 18 to 24%. So technically, when we look at obesity and the body fat percentage in terms of statistics, 32% for women and 25% for men. I know that might sound a bit crazy, which I definitely think as well a little bit, but that is technically the percentages that are out there. So when we look at these percentages, we notice a little bit of a difference between men and women. Men have less essential fat needs than women do. So that's kind of where that comes from. We need to carry a little bit more body fat than men. Okay, so I wanted to throw that in here. And I'll talk a little bit about these percentages and some of the trade-offs from going from each sort of type near the end of the presentation. But what I want to go back to first is what we have coming up in our benchmark testing. So what we have been tracking over the last little bit is something called lean body mass, which is a number that we can get from that body fat percentage. So I want to talk a little bit about what that is and then how you guys can go about getting that number. Okay, if you do put it into the spreadsheet, it will automatically calculate that for you at the gym, but just so you guys basically know what you're looking for. Okay, so why is lean body mass important? Why is this a number that we look at and include in our LP benchmarks every year? So our lean body mass gives us an idea of how much strength a particular person has. And with a higher lean body mass comes a higher amount of muscle mass, and this obviously directly impacts your strength and ability to perform not just day-to-day tasks, but some physical tasks that come up. Okay. These muscles allow your body to move efficiently. They support your joint health, give you better posture, all around better movement throughout life. Okay. Not only that, is that the more muscle we have in our body, the more active tissue we have. So if we're just sitting here, say me and Adam are sitting side by side, he has he has about 35 pounds of muscle more than I do. Okay, so that is working within his body, and he just at rest, if we were doing absolutely nothing, he would still be burning that much more calories than me because of the amount of muscle mass that he has. So the more muscle you have, the higher your metabolic rate, which helps in overall fat burning and maintaining a healthy weight. Okay, so that muscle piece plays a factor in maintenance of any body weight. And then the third piece is just overall health. So maintaining a good lean body mass is crucial for your overall health, and definitely when we look at and we study anything in terms of longevity. Okay, disease prevention, immune function, risk of injuries, and definitely allows people to be more independent as they age. Okay, so big reason we want to have a optimal lean body mass, and we are looking at that 70 to 90% when we do the calculation, which I'll talk about a little bit more. When we look at lean body mass versus fat mass, so they're two different things here. The lean body mass refers to your total weight of your body minus all the fat mass. So it still includes a bunch of different things, like we talked about your muscle, but it also includes bones, organs, water, all of that stuff. Yes, even your blood. So it basically refers to anything that is active within your body. Okay, versus our fat mass, which includes essential fat and non-essential fat. Okay, so our bodies need both basically a lot of essential fat in order to survive. So in your organs, bone marrow, muscles, nervous system, it helps regulate hormones, absorbing fat soluble vitamins. So there's lots of positives, things that happen because of the essential fat. Okay. But then there's also extra fat that is that's accumulated in fat cells, under the skin, visceral fat, and this can be too much if it's in excess. So if we have an excess of our non-essential fat, we have increased risk of cardiovascular disease, type 2 diabetes, joint problems, mobility issues, and all sorts of things. Okay, so we want to make sure that we're maintaining a healthy level of essential fat so that we do allow our bodies to work properly. Okay, but we want to make sure that we're managing that non-essential fat to reduce the risk of those chronic diseases and improve just your overall health, fitness, and life. Okay. So when we look at our optimal lean body mass, I mentioned that we want to be at about that 70 to 90% is what we were looking at. When we look at the difference, just like we looked at the difference between male and female in the body fat percentage, it is the same when it comes to lean body mass. We have, when we look at when we look at women, we want to be in that lower end of the range, so 70 to 85%. Okay. And then men a little bit higher, that 75 to 90%. Okay, so ladies, when we're filling out that our benchmark, okay, 70 to 85% is where we want to be for that range, and then men 75 to 90%. Okay. So how do we get our lean body mass? Okay, this is a calculation that we can do in order to figure out what this was. So all we have to do is subtract our fat mass from our total weight, and then divide that by our total weight. So for example, an example of the person that we just looked at the beginning of the presentation, say someone's 172 pounds total weight, their fat mass came up as 43. We would take 43 from 172, divide that by 172, and that gives them a lean body mass of 75%. Okay, so if we were looking at, say this was a woman, she would be in that mid-range, pretty good lean body mass. Maybe with her goals, she might want to increase that a little bit, but in terms of an overall healthy range, she's in a great spot. Okay, if we look at this person from a male perspective, they would be 75 would be on the lower end of things. Okay, so we would look at maybe trying to get that a little bit higher in that range. And then depending on that person's goals, change as well. Okay, so fat mass is one thing that doesn't pull up on our scale. Okay, so I just threw this in here so you know how your fat mass is calculated. All you need to know is your body fat percentage and your total weight from your analysis. Okay, so this person total weight was 172 and their body fat percentage was 25. That's a typo, but all I need to do is multiply those two and that will give me your fat mass. Okay, so I multiplied 172 by 0.25 and that will give you your overall fat mass. So that's kind of where I got that number in the previous slide to subtract from your total weight. Okay, so that gives you an idea of where we want to be when it comes to lean body mass. Our women are in that 70 to 85% range, and then men 75 to 90% range. Okay, does that make sense from a lean body mass standpoint? Okay, all right, we're rolling. Okay. Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about someone who's potentially wanting to change their body composition. What does that look like? I'm going to show a little bit of some different options in terms of what it really takes to lose body fat, improve your health, move from that one category of fitness to the next, which I had that table before. And I think it's necessary that before anyone wants to make any sort of change with their body composition, that they really weigh the pros and cons and really make an informed decision about their body and their health, and make sure it's something that they're wanting to do with some of the trade-offs that we'll talk about. Okay, so I wanted to just throw up these myths to kind of get started. Myth number one comes up a lot. some people think that with just a few small, easy, and subtle changes to one's diet and exercise routine, you can have shredded abs, big biceps, and tight glutes. So I wish this was the case. Definitely takes a little bit more, which we'll talk about the trade-offs in order to get that magazine cover model. Myth number 2, getting healthy or losing weight involves massive, painful, and intolerable sacrifice, restriction, and deprivation. Okay. We can definitely make a lot of changes without things being severely painful. Okay, I like that one. Okay, so some of these myths, I think, come from a lot of the stuff that's out there. You know, the six-pack abs that we see on our fitness magazines, our Instagram posts here that potentially would be edited, okay? But this is people just trying to sell you some stuff, and we really need to think about, like I said before, is what it costs to actually have that look. Is that something that you really want and are ready to give up a bunch of things? There are real trade-offs to any of these goals. So in reality, a few things that I wanted you guys to keep in mind. Number 1 would be the process that helps you lose that first 10 pounds if you're looking to make a change is definitely not the same for the last 10 pounds. Okay, so if someone has a body fat percentage of 40, their first 10 pounds will be a little bit different, and they'll need to make a few less trade-offs than someone who is looking to, you know, maybe lose their last 5 pounds. Okay. If you do aspire to fitness model or elite athlete lean, you might be surprised. Images, like I just said before, some are photoshopped for effect. Bodybuilders only basically look like that for competition, and achieving that look comes at a high cost. Okay, and most people aren't willing to pay that to make it there. And then reality 3, if you're okay not being on the next magazine cover and aspire to be lean and healthy, definitely even small adjustments, and especially over time, can add up to noticeable improvements. Okay, this is kind of what we call the fit life. And the more we chip away, at this, the more results we're going to get in the future. Okay. Okay. Okay, so the fun part, taking a peek at the cost of getting lean, and is it really worth the trade-off? So I wanted to take a look at 2 LP members, meet Paul and Jen. And Paul, sorry, this is not you. This is just Paul, and this is just Jen. No specific members in mind when I made this. Okay, so Paul is our male and Jen is our female, and they are currently at this on this particular slide. Okay, Paul is greater than 20% and Jen is greater than 30%. Okay, so when we look at from an athlete perspective, almost no athletes would be, in terms of like professional, semi-professional athletes at this level when it comes to body fat percentage. Okay. The benefits of being at this body fat percentage for people is that it's an easy fallback for some folks, and it doesn't require much thought or work to stay here. Okay, but there are some trade-offs. So trade-off to being at this body fat percentage would definitely be poor health, lower energy levels, poor life expectancy, risk of metabolic syndrome, and may need some medication to manage various conditions. Okay, so that's kind of where we're at if we were in this body fat percentage range. Okay, if we wanted to get to if we wanted to be at this percentage, you would want to or you are doing more of eating processed foods. You're eating lots of big portions at every meal, and lots of times you're just hammering that food into your mouth. Okay. You aren't doing exercise, maybe of any kind, definitely not eating whole foods, and your sleep might be really poor. Okay. So that's in the above 20 for males and above 30 for females. To go from the unhealthy 20 and 30% to this considered healthy body fat range, definitely not definitely, but a more easy transition. I've got very easy transition up here for males to get from 15 to 20, 25 to 30 for the ladies. Okay. You might see some college age athletes at this percentage, off season elite bodybuilders. So they definitely put on some body fat in when they're not competing. Olympic shot putters. So looking at that kind of body fat percentage. Benefits of transitioning from that unhealthy to this healthy range. Definitely improved health and overall energy. Sleep would be better. Exercise is a little bit more easy and a little bit more enjoyable at this percentage. But there are some trade-offs. It does require a little bit of thought and planning. You'll look good, feel good, but not super lean. Okay. If you were in this range, you're eating slowly until satisfied, so you're not overstuffing yourself at 60% of your meals. Maybe you have a meal, one meal or so a day that you probably overeat. You have about 2 palmfuls of protein in 1 to 2 meals per day. So you're getting in some protein, but you're not getting in a lot. And then maybe you're getting in a few servings of veggies per day. And then you've added in some exercise, maybe 3 to 5 times a week, any sort of intensity. Okay. And you're also thinking about eating fewer desserts and processed foods and drinking fewer caloric beverages. Okay. So these would be a few if you're in that over 30 or over 20%. If you just take a look at these things and think about doing these within your week, it could be a reasonable, easier transition from our unhealthy range back into this range. Okay. Then we look at transitioning further down. Okay. So this is less of an easy transition. Okay. Guys are coming to that 13, 15%. Ladies are coming down to that 23, 25%. So you're doing a little bit more to get here. Okay. So you're eating slowly until satisfied for almost all of your meals. And you're eating a little bit more protein, eating a little bit more veggies, and a little bit more exercise, and definitely making sure you're working with some form of intensity. And then I love that this one is in here. Sleep at least 7 hours a night. Okay, so sleep's one of the things that keeps coming up here. And we will talk about this a little bit more in recovery, but it's a good one to keep in mind that if you have been struggling with any sort of weight loss or body composition change and you're doing all of the things, but only sleeping 5 hours a night, that could just be the one thing that could be a game changer for you. This person transitioning to this range, they eat they would be eating desserts and processed foods only 3 to 5 times a week, and only 3 to 5 caloric beverages per week. Okay, so a little bit of an easy transition into this category, if everything is working as it should. Then we get into a little bit more of a medium transition. So it's getting harder to get to that male, 10 to 12%, female, 20 to 22%. So almost, you're not overstuffing yourself basically almost all day. Getting a little bit more protein. So protein in every meal, vegetables in each meal. You're getting in some good healthy fats so that your hormones are functioning really well. And also carbohydrates to support your exercise. So a little bit more intensity when it comes to that overall exercise routine. And then that sleep again is upping from 7 to 8 hours a night. So a little bit more sleep required with that increase in intensity in that weekly workout routine. This person is eating less desserts and processed foods, maybe just 1 to 2 times per week, and then only drinking up to 1 to 2 caloric beverages per week. Okay, so definitely going from the last slide to this one, going to be a little bit harder, a little bit more strict. Okay. Then we come into our last healthy range here, gentlemen in that 6 to 9% range, and ladies 16 to 19%. Definitely a way harder transition. I know I can speak from personal experience to get into this range and to maintain in this range is definitely a harder transition than the previous percentage. So this person is basically never overeating, maybe one time per week. They're still getting in their protein with each meal, vegetables with each meal. Within their vegetables, they're making sure they're getting lots of fiber. Vegetables, their healthy fats are something that they're focusing on. They might be focusing on a little less carbohydrates within their cut or their transition, and they're definitely exercising a little bit more, 60 to 75 minutes per day, and 4 of those being pretty intense. And then that sleep, there we go again, sleep at least 8 hours a night is on there. This person is limiting carbs to their post-workout or designed around their higher carb workout days. They definitely have their workout nutrition on point. That's something that they really focus on. And eating desserts and processed foods once every 1 to 2 weeks. So they're being pretty strict. Dessert is something that is considered a treat, and going out is considered a treat. And definitely the caloric beverages, especially alcohol, looking at that 1 to 2 week range. Okay. Okay, so we have our last sort of healthy range when it comes to percentage. As we move into this unhealthy range, we want to look at and understand that potentially these people eventually are getting close to only having their essential fat, so they don't have any of the other excess fat. And then potentially, if they're getting a little bit lower, they might be losing some of their essential fat. Okay, so what are they doing more of to get here? So they're basically never full. They're doing maybe some calorie carb cycling. They're definitely following a meal plan with sort of predetermined determined amounts. They measure food. They have their scale out. They know exactly what they're having for protein, vegetables, fats, etc. at each meal. A little bit more exercise, and sleep is a huge component at this one, sort of upping from 8 to 9 hours. Okay. When it comes to benefits, oh yeah, I forgot to talk about maybe some of the benefits of the other ones, but benefits of this one might be some sort of pride or achieving some sort of athletic goal, athletic feat, that sort of things. But there's definitely a lot of trade-offs when it comes to getting into this range. Someone might have trouble in a social setting where food's involved. They might have to miss out on fun events. It's not easy going out and having to have some people might make comments. It's definitely a big time commitment when it comes to measuring, weighing, and tracking all foods. And sometimes this hyper focus on diet and exercise can contribute to some form of disordered eating, potentially as a trade-off. And definitely just the time required to invest into all of the inputting, all of the weighing, all of that stuff can definitely take away from some of your other interests or some things that you want to spend time on. Okay. So this person is also limiting carbs to that post-workout, and definitely very low minimal dessert or processed foods every 10 to 12 weeks, and they're definitely avoiding caloric beverages. Okay, so lots of different ranges when it comes to healthy ranges, and I want you guys to think about where within those ranges would you like to be or see yourself? Because it all depends on your priorities, your goals, what makes the most sense for you, and where is your body composition at now? Basically, we want to look at where's your body composition at now? What are your current priorities and goals? And then are you okay with those trade-offs that need to happen in order to get there? Okay. Oh, there we go. Ahead of myself here. So this is a definitely a great week to explore that, getting your body composition done, whether it's maintenance, whether it's losing, whether it's gaining, or just finding some nice good balance using the do more of or do less of as a way of defining your priorities. Okay, I want you to this week decide on what you're willing to do right now in order to serve those goals, and think about why, so you can truly stick with something that you have made a decision on. Okay. And I want you to really think about what you're willing to do right now. Okay. So this week is all about taking a look at where you're at, really thinking about your priorities. What time do you have? Where would you like to be? And setting some long-term goals for this. I do want you to take the long view. Whatever change you are going to take, it is going to take time. So I want you to be ready for that time. And definitely we can come up with, a very complex plan. But sometimes a simple plan followed consistently over time is one that's going to be better than a crazy one that's really, really hard and too many trade-offs. So think about all of those things, what sort of trade-offs you would do, and yeah, you can kind of figure out a plan from there. Okay. Okay, so there's one other thing I wanted to show you. Okay, so within our booklet on the body composition page, I have what's on tap this week. So what is important that you guys do for your challenge is I want you to complete your body composition analysis. Okay. You are here, so you're understanding how to interpret your results. And then I want you to fill out your spreadsheet, fill out the spreadsheet at the gym, okay, so that we can have all of the information and put it on your tracking sheet. So I've given you guys a little scorecard here that I'd like you to print off. And you can use it, you are going to use it throughout the 7 weeks in order to put all of your scores down, okay, for all of the things. And what we're going to do in the end is we're going to take all of that information and plop it in somewhere, and then it's going to help you sort of pick particular goals based on where you're at for any of the benchmarks. Okay, so this is a page I want you to print off. Bring it with you each week to the gym to get all of your benchmarks in there in a nice little organized fashion. Okay, but for this week, our goals are to do your body composition and fill out the spreadsheet and tracker. And that is all I had today. If anyone wants to add any questions, I am just adding everyone. And I think they can now unmute yourself if you have any questions. Hey, Lisa, do you have a question? Or are you just showing your beautiful face?
I just thought I'd pop in and show my face.
Okay, I love it. I love it.
Actually, you know what? For that tracking sheet, the one that you just showed us,
Yes.
are we typing in our goals there, or like what, like
No,
our body
just-
composition?
Good question. Just body composition, or like your back squat that you do. Just put your
Okay.
results. I just included that comment section, and you don't need it, but some people would like to write notes. Say I used a purple band or something like that. That you guys can just have a space that you can write anything that you want down there.
Okay, that sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
What will we be doing with that information that we're entering in there? I know we've entered information into spreadsheets in the past. Do you guys like log this and track it over time, or?
We do. We like to look at all of the data and see if there's certain areas that we're sort of lacking. And maybe it's an area that we need to focus on when it comes to our overall fitness. So we'll take a peek at, is there, one area where we're all needs improvement? What does our VO2s look like? And it sort of helps us determine in some ways some emphasis during particular phases of the year. Good question, Paul. Okay. Well, if that's it, Janice, anything from the guru of body composition analysis?
No, I'm all good.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Please send me a note if you need help with anything over the week for body composition. I'm your girl this week. And next week, Adam will be up with strength and muscular conditioning. So enjoy your easy week this week. We don't have to do anything too hard besides maybe getting on the scale, but that is it. That is it. Thanks, guys. Have a great night. Thank you for showing up.
Thank you.
Thanks,
You're
Michelle.
welcome. Bye.
Bye.